You're still watching our Morning at 10 TV, 23 minutes past 8 a.m. I'm Arnold Sagawa. Let's shift gear and move into a conversation around the future of the media space. Many questions around what it is, where it's actually heading, and what the future might hold. To try and unpack this particular conversation, I'm joined by the head of radio at Nation Media Group, Joseph Beanga, and Japheth CK. A very fancy name for the ladies. Founder of Innovation Village. CK and Joseph, thanks for making time to speak to us. Let me just start with you, Joseph. To just try and unpack this whole conversation around where we are right now, media-wise, and maybe from where it was in a retrospective manner 50, 40 years ago.
Well, 50, 40 years ago, I wasn't yet born, but at least you can be sure 50 in the early years of our independence, the Ugandan newspapers were selling way more than they are selling today, despite the fact that the population was smaller. Today, all the dailies combined in Uganda, they sell less than 100,000 copies. But does that mean that they are being read by a few people? No, the readership is way bigger, but the number of sales, copy sales, is smaller. Back then, the copy sales were bigger, but the readership was smaller. And then when you come to radio, back in the days in the 80s when I was growing up, there used to be a program on Radio Uganda, Habari Gani, where almost every Ugandan used to sit and wait for entertainment. Right now, everywhere you turn, we have 292 radio stations. Entertainment is everywhere, in every room, on every dial, every frequency. TV, we had to wait for UTV to come on at 6 p.m. and then it goes off at whatever time. We used to see football made in Germany. And then the rainbow, the curtain, and then the curtain goes off, and then you see. And then football, we used to see football made in Germany. We would watch it 2 weeks later, but right now you watch the match as it's going on. So a lot of things have changed. And when you fast forward to the 2000s and all that, you have a lot in your hands. Guys are not reading the newspapers as they used to do. During the lockdown, most newspapers lost their saturation by 50%. Does that mean that people were not reading newspapers, were not reading news? No, they were reading news. Newspapers were free on e-paper, but lots of people were getting their information on social media, on websites and all that. So a lot has changed in the way people consume information. They still consume information, they still look for entertainment, but a lot has changed in how they consume it.
Right. CK, let me just bring you in. I understand you're with the Innovation Village here. And with this kind of a backdrop that Joseph is alluding to, innovation-wise, definitely we have to evolve. And where does this leave us? Do you get the sense that we are moving, we are running as fast as the spectrum is actually changing?
Thank you for that question. It's actually something we're reflecting on with Joseph just before we came here. Even before COVID, now with COVID, we believe that COVID has launched the innovation opportunity or the technology opportunity. But unfortunately, we are still missing the mark as far as tapping into the actual opportunities that we could bring to life as far as technology is concerned. So there's traction. There's been a lot of interest. I had the minister speak about e-commerce, and how technology and innovation is going to be unlock new opportunities. But I think the fundamental piece we're lacking is that technology or innovation doesn't just improve. We must build the infrastructure that is required to power it up. We cannot grow just because technology is a time for technology. But if we build the infrastructure required to power it up, then we'll see much more benefit.
When you say infrastructure, what exactly are you alluding to here?
So it's a combination of things. It's a combination of the cost of data, data. I stay in Chira, but getting a home connection was close to impossible. It's what's the policy environment that is required to spur innovation and technology and opportunities. It's the basic skills, the capacity, of what it takes for us to innovate. That's still lacking, that needs to be engineered and, you know, and directed. It's things like, you know, are we investing, you know, into technology, into innovation? You know, you cannot reap where you did not sow.
Joseph, let me bring you back. The word innovation, I remember, I think it was like 4 years ago, where innovation was on the tip of everyone's tongue, you know, and I, for one, believe it's one of those words that was at times misused, same as Africa is rising, you know. There are those taglines that, you know, you hear it so much, it becomes a broken record. When it comes to your space right now, radio is really struggling. Newspapers are struggling. Radio is also struggling. You're being buttered by YouTube. There was iPods at one side. Phones are becoming the other thing. What for you sums up innovation in the radio space? Back in the day, it could have been a great presenter who comes on and talks as fancy as Arnold. What now sums that up?
Innovation is not necessarily the new things or whatever things you're doing, you know, coming up with new stuff and all that. No, radio is a medium people turn to for content. Now, innovation in radio, given that cliche that you talked about, innovation, which most people at times you think you need to do new things, do you need to put radio on top of? Innovation is not necessarily new things. It could be the same old things done in a new way. So how does radio play into that space? You realize that people now have access to more entertainment than they can just wait for on radio at a specific time, wait for the mighty breakfast 6 to 10 a.m. No, people now want to access some stuff, some information, some content as and when they need it. So what innovation, how radio comes in, is you have to work your way, push your content to your people, to your audiences at the time they need it. The other thing about innovation is, back in the days, the radio programmers literally determined everything they wanted people to consume. But right now the consumer has bigger choices to pick from. So as a radio programmer, as a radio person putting out content, as a radio manager, you need to think more innovatively. How do I meet the needs of my audience? You have to know who your audience is. That's where innovation comes in. Get new ways of understanding your audience. You have to know what are the songs people are interested in listening in. It's not back in the days when you'd have to wait for the charts to come from the UK and all that. No, there are many ways. Go online, see what people are streaming. There are many quick ways of testing what people are interested in listening in.
That's quite interesting, because I'm a radio man myself, and this leaves, yes, I'm sure you could tell from the voice. And this leaves me wondering, on-demand content. You know, I was looking at an interesting graph the other day. Netflix, by market cap, is now at par during the lockdown with ExxonMobil. Who knew? ExxonMobil, you know, the giants of the oil industry. And this is because of on-demand content. Make a series, make Money Heist, put it out there. If you want it, you download it for, you know, just a few dollars. Are we slacking when it comes to Ugandan radio when creating on-demand content, podcast, Spotify, just listed on the New York Stock Exchange, big blow up? Are we lagging behind on on-demand content?
I would say yes, to some extent we are lagging behind. Not because we are short on ideas, but as CK alluded, the infrastructure. You put out content, you have your radio, it's online and all that, but when you check who are many people streaming in,
54.
54. 100 is your peak. Then you wonder, is it worth the investment? So if it's not worth the investment, why throw money at it? It's a business at the end of the day. You have to break even. If you're putting in your money, you have to get it out. You can't keep throwing lots of money at a good thing, but it's not productive. So that somehow slows down innovation. But as times have changed, you have me and you, we could be living, we could be going up in terms of age group and all that. But there are young kids who don't know radio as we know it. The only thing they know is when they want to listen to something is just put in the URL. And that's all they know. So we have to move and get in touch with them, or otherwise Spotify, Netflix, and all that would take them.
CK, let me bring you back. Arguably, the elephant in the room is the Future of Media program, which you guys are partnering together. Just tell us about this. What are some of the initiatives that you're going to be doing? How long is it? Just give us a 4-in-1 here.
So it's an exciting one, and we are grateful to work with the Nation Media Group to understand what the future of media is. In the context of what we do at the Innovation Village, we're fortunate to be working with some of Uganda's most promising entrepreneurs. We have communities in Gulu, in Jinja, in Barara, in Tinda, of entrepreneurs who are building, who are using technology to solve today's most pressing challenges. COVID-19 has been one of such challenges, and a number of them have innovated. But in this particular context, we look at the media as the industry that is driving the world, the information, how we perceive life as we know it. And of course, like Joseph alluded, it has also faced a series of challenges. Now, in the innovation context, what we do is we get young entrepreneurs who have this high affinity to create, and then on this other side, we have strong industry partners who own the customer, who understand the context, who are facing some real challenges given the trends that are happening. And then we put these in a room, now a room online, and we say, hi guys, hi together. How might we redefine opportunities in this industry? How might we use the data that you have across all the Nation Media platforms to do mass customization of content for the people that you are targeting? How do we understand trends? How do we generate new content, completely new content? So the Future of Media Challenge is an invitation to Uganda's most creative innovators out there, bringing them to the fold and saying, here is an opportunity for you to partner up with a large-scale partner to work with Nation Media Group, such that we can unlock innovation at scale in an industry that's driving the world. And for me, it's one of the biggest opportunities, because I see friends all over the world, people like Netflix, whether it's even in Kenya, young entrepreneurs in media who are building new pathways to consume new content. And it's something we've laid back in the market here, but I think this is our first real opportunity or goal to unlock innovation in the media industry.
Right.
And it doesn't get any better than working with a big partner who can offer scale in that context.
No, of course, when it comes to big, definitely that bit is a bit ticked already. If I'm a 20-year-old and I see this call to action, calls to action rather, the plural, I remember a certain friend of mine who is always skeptical when he hears big names. There's a CK here. You could tell from his jacket that he's a Marks and Spencer kind of guy. What guarantee would they have? Maybe I could pose this to you, Joseph, that you're not going to get his idea, his PayPal or his eBay idea, which is the next big thing, and you just run with it. I mean, this guy could probably not even afford a lawyer, because that's one thing that has many of these innovators just pull back when they hear, you're going to have big names. These are guys with big paychecks. What guarantee would they have that you're not just going to run with it, and tomorrow they hear it playing on Dembe FM?
Thank you very much for that. I think what's important is get to know the people you're working with. As CK put it, when we had a visit at the whole senior management team at Nation Media Group Uganda, we visited Innovation Village. They took us through their setup, their outfit. There's everything you need. The whole ecosystem is there. They have lawyers, they have accountants, they have everything. So if you're a young entrepreneur and you work and you're an innovator, you're coming in with this idea and you're not sure with these guys play me? One, if you don't have a lawyer, Innovation Village will have a lawyer for you. You are covered. If you don't have a lawyer, NMG will give you a lawyer. You're covered. And the assurance is we are not here to steal your idea. We are here to add value to your idea. We are here to partner with you, get your idea, take off. Many people have ideas, they don't have the financing. Many people have great innovations, they don't have an infrastructure. So what we are offering is bring the idea, this is the infrastructure, this is the steps you need to go through to get the idea working. And at that point, you get into a partnership. Do you want to sell off your idea outright? Do you want to partner with NMG? There are so many models of how it will work out. It's not like you come, you drop it in, and at the moment you drop it in, oh, your hands are off. No. It's a whole process of you getting the challenge. First of all, you're working within the parameters we've set up. If I may just give a bit of background. We looked at the whole NMG and the audiences we have and the profiles we have online, on air, and everywhere. And we looked at the numbers. We tried to convert the numbers into the money. The numbers that we have and the money were not matching. Then we touched base with the guys at Innovation Village. We said, hey, where's the missing gap? They showed us the missing gap.
Which is?
Which is how to monetize the numbers. How to make content that is custom made for different audiences. Which is how to get the new innovations and the old media, how do you get the two to add value on each other? Those are some of the three gaps we are looking at. I'm just paraphrasing. So now the innovator will come in and look at how to fit with how to prescribe, so to say, a solution to all those three challenges. And when you come up with a solution, then we work with you to the end to bring it to life. So really, if you're an innovator and you're looking and you're thinking, baja kunkubirayo, neda, you're covered.
I could come in.
Yeah, CK just jump in.
Yeah, and to just add on that, you see, to innovate in the context of where we are, you need a series of things. You need the capital, which we all know is in short supply. You'll need capacity, talent, people to work on your solution. You'll need market. You can't innovate and you don't have an outlet for what you're innovating. You need a whole loads of things. You just don't need the idea. The idea is probably just 1%. Now, in an environment where we don't have capital, our model is that through startup corporate collaborations, we're able to get the capital we need from a corporate and industry partner who's keen to innovate and bring them together with this innovator who has an idea that both of them could benefit from. So you'll find that as we go ahead, collaboration is going to be, is the new opportunity.
I hear you. They say timing is everything, and I could definitely say the timing is very terrible right now with the pandemic, which is a global scourge. Don't you get the sense that you're going to grapple with this at a time where everyone is holding so tight onto whatever they have? And I'm trying to think here as an innovator, as I'm quantifying ideas into money, because let's face it, we're just trying to monetize it.
Yeah. I don't think so, because even from a challenge that we launched about, COVID Innovation Challenge, in a space of a week, we'd received 100+ submissions from entrepreneurs and young people. And I think that's the fundamental element for the young people that we see in this country today. They want to contribute. They want an opportunity to be part of the solution. And that's what this challenge, gives them to say, here's what I think the future of media is. And it's actually an opportunity for you now to collaborate with a large-scale partner to see your idea come to life.
Joseph, you have the last word before we actually sign out.
The last word will be, one, as CK said, look, the future belongs to all of us. We won't sit back and wait for things to be dictated, that what we consume is dictated and all that. This is an opportunity. for you guys who are out there and you have these innovative ideas. Remember, innovation is not new things. It's new ways at times, just new ways of how things are done. Get in, look for that link which has been shared there, and you will see it a lot on our social media platforms, in the newspapers and everywhere, on radio, on KFM and Dembe, Daily Monitor, or the websites, NTV, Spark TV. Get in, share your idea, get into the challenge, and come up with this innovation. Determine the future of the media that you want to see. Don't sit back and say, these people keep on dictating what we should see and what we should consume. It's your chance to determine what the future you want to see.
Right, many thanks for that. And maybe I need to reiterate that the applications are closing on the 17th of June, 2020. So you need to get it in Spark, NTV, the websites, East African Daily Monitor, Dembe, and KFM. You can just head on to the Nation Media websites and be a part of this. Many thanks to my guests today. Right to my left, Joseph Beanga, who is the head of Radio Nation Media Group. And to my extreme left, the CK. I think I need to change my name. I think I need to go by, you know, such a fancy name. Just slides right in there. CK, doing the news, you know. Thank you, gents. Many thanks for that.